Co-ops in New York City value job security, so any change to your employment status during the purchase process is a real challenge, and it must be navigated with care, even if you found a higher-paying job. Now, if you've already submitted your board application, and if you've already received approval prior to accepting a new job, there's really nothing to worry about. But what happens if you accept a job offer before the application has been submitted, or after the application is submitted but before your interview? In either case, you certainly need to disclose your new employment plans to the board. We'll discuss how to do this in the following video. I'm Nick at Hauseit, based here in New York City. Check out our website, hauseit.com, to learn how to save money if you're buying or selling real estate here in New York. So let's get started. So, first question, what is your duty to disclose? Well, to be absolutely clear, you have no duty to disclose possible changes in your employment status. If you're applying for jobs, at the interview stage, or even close to receiving a job offer, you still have no obligation to share this information with a co-op board, since there is no concrete change to your employment status as of yet. You might simply be just exploring your options. Even if you've received a job offer, or perhaps multiple offers, you still have no obligation to disclose this information to the co-op board, since you haven't really committed to anything. However, the moment you accept a job offer and sign the offer letter, this becomes something which the co-op board might actually need to know about. Let's say you've accepted a new job offer, but you've already submitted your application, completed the board interview, and received co-op board approval. Must you disclose this information? Legally speaking, probably not. And this is because, assuming there is no material change in your financial status, you really have no obligation to disclose. That being said, always check with your real estate attorney for official legal advice. So what do we mean by material change in your financial status? Well, here's an example. Let's say you're leaving a $500K a year job at Goldman Sachs to take a $650K a year job at Deutsche Bank. Since you're transitioning within the industry to a similar role with arguably similar pay, it's not something the co-op board really needs to know about. If, however, you're leaving a $500K a year job at Goldman Sachs to take a $30K a year job as an entry-level mechanic, that really could be considered a material change in your financial status. Now let's say you've accepted a new job offer, but you have not submitted your board application. Must you disclose this planned change of employment, assuming you've signed an offer letter? Well, the answer is unequivocally yes. Now, what happens if you get laid off before you submit the application, or even after you've already received board approval? Unfortunately, in either case, this is certainly considered a material change to your financial situation, and consequently, you likely have a duty to disclose this information. But please be sure to check with your real estate attorney. Now, being unemployed will practically guarantee a board rejection. On the bright side, you probably don't want to move forward with a purchase if you were just fired, and board rejection will typically allow you to recoup your entire contract deposit and walk away relatively unscathed. How to present a change of employment in the board application. When preparing the board package, you'll need to include a signed copy of your offer letter. This typically goes in the employer verification letter section of the board package. The offer letter should clearly outline your base salary, bonus, and overtime compensation, if applicable, as well as any other compensation you've been awarded, such as a sign-on bonus, possible equity awards over time, etc. Oftentimes, an offer letter can be somewhat confusing to a layperson, particularly if you're receiving equity awards which vest over time. Therefore, we recommend drafting a supplemental letter and submitting this with the board package, which will explain your new compensation structure in easy-to-understand language. Creating a table which breaks down your new compensation arrangement while also comparing it to your current compensation structure is particularly helpful in this endeavor. If you're also receiving a signing bonus or other compensation, be sure to explain how this further improves your annual income. Here's an example of additional language which may be added to your change of employment letter. In addition to the higher guaranteed base salary and bonus offered by my new employer, they've agreed to pay me a $25,000 sign-on bonus immediately, as well as issue $100,000 of guaranteed equity awards, which will vest over a 4-year period. This effectively increases my annual compensation over the next 4 years by $31,250 annually, making my total annual income $229,000 plus $31,250, or $260,250 a year over the next 4 years. Overall, this represents a 47% increase in annual compensation compared to my current employer. In addition to your offer letter and additional compensation explanation letter, please be sure to submit an employer verification letter from your current employer. Next question, how to handle the co-op board interview. If you're changing employers, chances are that you will be asked about this during the co-op board interview. After all, co-op boards are primarily focused on ensuring that an applicant will be able to pay the monthly maintenance, so a change in employment will naturally ring some alarm bells. That being said, you're likely changing employers because of a more attractive opportunity. If asked about the job change during the interview, you'll want to leverage this opportunity to emphasize the higher compensation associated with your new gig. So there you have it. We hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. We'd also love to hear any new topic ideas. I'm Nick at Hauseit, and we'll see you on the next video.